Shalom, I am Rabbi Uri Pilchowski and I am your child's teacher this year. It's wonderful having them back again as a teacher. I'm sorry that I can't be there in person to greet you. I'm not sorry that I'm not in Miami, and let me explain to you why. I am currently living in Eretz Yisrael, in Israel, and it's a wonderful privilege, something that I'm incredibly proud to have accomplished and to be able to do, and really am blessed that I get to live here. At the same time that I moved, I couldn't bear being without your children in my classroom, and therefore I asked the school, and they thankfully agreed to allow me to continue teaching. So every day here at 3 p.m. and 8 a.m. in Miami, I start teaching your child in my senior capstone class. The capstone class is interesting in the fact that it exposes our students to many different areas. Your child has chosen and been chosen to be part of the capstone Beit Midrash track, which is just like last year they were part of the Beit Midrash track in the underclass grades, meaning in the 11th grade and before that 10th and 9th grade for those that were there. This year they've chosen to take that track in the 12th grade. And it's a little different than the other capstone classes. They miss out on what's in those classes, but they gain by what we're offering in the Beit Midrash track and what I get to offer. Let me explain just a little about what we do inside the classroom. Where our main goal obviously is to teach Torah. We're trying to teach authentic Torah to make sure that your child gets exposed to the greatest stuff out there, and we're doing that by hopefully giving them an appreciation for authentic Judaism. We want them to see not just a Judaism that's based on identity and not just a Judaism that's semantic, but I want them to have a Judaism that they see based on our classic literature, our classic Sfarim. So this year we're going to be studying in Chumash, Sefer Shemot. And every Friday we'll be studying the Sedra HaShavua. We'll be studying that week's Torah portion, what we commonly refer to as the week's Parsha. And what we'll be doing is looking in Shemot, we'll be looking at a debate between two different classic commentaries. Usually some of the Rishonim, let's say Rashi, or the Ramban, or the Sforno, or even Ezra. And what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at their opinions, looking at what they have come to say about a particular pasuk. So, for instance, this week we studied the very beginning of Sedra Shemot. We just started at the end of Sefer Shemot, where we studied the idea of a new Paro coming up, a new king, and the debate whether it was really a new king or whether it was the same Paro, but just forgot about Yosef and put Yosef aside in order to accomplish and justify his own goals. So we'll take his two different opinions, we'll compare them, juxtapose them, and take a conceptual outlook on them. On Sedra HaShavua, we're going to be doing something different. Instead of, let's say, looking at two classic commentaries, we're going to be dealing with something that I find in each week that's a little counterintuitive. Meaning that we think of certain things, whether it be in the philosophical realm or whether in our average life, and we'll look at it and say, okay, this is how we understand it to be. This is how we explain it. But now, let me show you a different angle. Let me look at something a little counterintuitively, and maybe it'll open up your eyes and expand your horizons in your own life to see something different than you might have approached life until now. And that's what we'll be doing in the Sedra HaShavua. I'll be connecting it both to something historical, so they'll see this idea in the past, and at the same time something relevant in their lives going forward. So they'll be able to see how this week's Torah portion is not just happens to be this week's Torah portion, but actually continues for the rest of life. I'll also be teaching them a methodology of thought, meaning I want them to be able to analyze the text. This is especially true when it comes to our study of Talmud, our study of Gemara. This year we're going to be concentrating on Arvei Pesachim, which is a chapter at the end of the Masechta, of a tractate that deals with the festival of Pesach. And we'll be dealing with a lot of Pesach, but a lot of Pesach also relates to the other festivals, and also most importantly relates to Shabbat and the practices like Kiddush and like lighting the candles that are very familiar to our community, and one which they'll be able to understand and then see some of the complex components of those laws. And I want your child to be able to develop the methodology and the skill set to be able to analyze those and break down those ideas. Most importantly, though, what my main goal is, I want your child to be happy, and I want them to love the study of Torah. I don't want the end of this. I don't want study of Torah to be the end of their experience when they graduate Hillel. I would like them to solidify, and Rabbi Green, who I'm not sure if he's in the room, if he's right there or right there. But Rabbi Green is the Israel guidance counselor this year for gap year study. What I'd really like is your child to fall so far in love with Torah that they realize that while Hillel has given them the first steps, they like to solidify those steps and build on them with a year of study in Israel next year, connecting to their homeland. And I know it's tough to say to let your child go and let him, and I know that letting your child go is something that maybe you've done it with older children in the past, or maybe this is going to be your first time coming up, and you're bracing yourself for it. But really giving them the opportunity to study in Israel and giving them the skill set to be able to do so now so that they can go to a place of higher learning in the future, much like what we're doing with our secular subjects. So that's what I really want them to have is to look at the chachma, look at the wisdom, and be so attracted to it that they love it and they want to continue doing it, really not just next year, but for their entire lives. And that's really my main goal, to give them a love of learning. I'll be coming in a couple of times a year, so I'll hopefully be able to actually teach this class in person once in a while. But for now, I teach this class. I know it looks like just a drab office. I just got my office. I didn't really get a chance to hang anything up. So it will be a little more colorful in the background in the future. But my office, what's really unique about my office, I am literally 100 feet away from the Kotel. I'm at a yeshiva called Yeshivat HaKotel, where I'm one of the directors, and that's really where I get to teach every single day. I get to teach your child with a spirit of Yerushalayim, a spirit of Jerusalem, and a spirit of the Temple Mount of Har Bayit, and bring that to them. And I think that comes through the screen. Every day I like to give a little antidote of what's happening in Israel and let them connect to Israel through that feeling. So I think that's an added addition. While there's a lot that might not be so ideal about teaching through a screen, but that feeling of Israel and that feeling of Yerushalayim that they're going to be getting, I think is an incredible blessing that Hillel is privileged to be able to give your child, and really that we're privileged to be able to experience. So I don't want to keep this too long. I know that in person these things can take a long time, and definitely on video, having me just sit here and talk is a little difficult. But if you have any questions, please, I've sent you an email, and you can email me, and I'd love to hear from you, or you can call me. I have an American number. It's on that first email I sent you, or you can ask your child. They all have my cell phone number. I look forward to hearing from you. All the best.